StonedSober, and this is actually a special video where we're going to do, first we're going to say a non-spoiler review, which is go see the fucking movie, right?
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
Okay, so then...
definitely beats Age of Ultron.
Yes. Okay, so now for the spoiler part. So if you didn't you saw the movie, come back and watch this. Okay, so how did you think of Civil War?
It was good. It wasn't everything I expected it to be. Some things I felt were overlooked.
Yeah. So when I went into it, obviously the hype for it was definitely
just batshit insane.
Yes. So, but when we were watching it at the beginning, at least, I felt kind of bored.
Really?
Well, it's just a lot of compare it to Star Wars or even Guardians of the Galaxy. It kept you like next scene. You were more invested because of action and shit like that. This was more about laying down the ground rules of what you're about to see.
Yeah, but every movie kind of has to do that for the most part. They can do it entertainingly, but
I'm just saying, I guess it wasn't as entertaining as I would like it to be at the beginning. Because the thing is, though, if I were to personally judge this movie on like my highest Marvel films of what I like, it'd be Guardians, then Civil War. Now, if the movie was just the airport scene, then it would be Civil War.
You can't judge an entire movie based on what's like. When we were watching the previews, Independence Day comes up, and just one scene where the 3D looks kind of neat. You see shit flying. It's like sold.
Well, yeah. But the thing is, though, like Star Wars and Guardians, I enjoyed as a whole more than I did this movie. But it's not a bad movie by all means. Yeah,
like T'Challa's in there, obviously Black Panther.
Yeah.
They never gave him a real backstory, so unless you know about the Black Panther, then you'd be like, okay, this guy's in a cat suit.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, it's more placating to Marvel fans. Even Spider-Man, no backstory in him, he's just there. So it's assuming that people have a good concept of Marvel characters beforehand.
Yeah, but you don't enjoy it, yes.
Yeah, you don't need it necessarily, but I'm just saying that anyone who doesn't really know much, you might be a little thrown off by who these certain people are.
Yeah, well, we'll get to Spider-Man later, but let's just start at the beginning of the movie. Like already, I called it. I was like, okay, that's Howard Stark's name, because
you knew instantly.
Well, it even added more, though, because in my Marvel Phase 2 collection, I have the newspaper document of the car crash in 1991, so I was like... and then just... Because, again, the real key films, obviously, besides first Captain America 1...
they're all key films, technically. Well, maybe not.
They are, but if you're really just wanting to just jump in, it would be Captain America 1... really kind of have to throw in Avengers.
Oh yeah.
Sure. Winter Soldier, Age of Ultron, and then Civil War.
Yeah.
To understand this movie in particular.
Like its grand story arc.
Yeah. If you watch everything else, then you get the most enjoyment out of this, I find.
Yeah.
Just like stuff with Petty Carter. I was just even thinking about
yeah, that sucked.
But the thing is, though,
you knew it was coming, but that sucked.
You knew that was coming, but it was well earned because if you watch Agent Carter season 1, 2, you've already invested so much time into this character, and then harking back to that scene before even the season 1, 2 of Agent Carter and Winter Soldier, when you saw her old. And again, it punched you in the hole. And again, everyone kind of guessed Agent, I forget her name.
Oh yeah, that woman. Yeah, I can't remember her name.
Yeah, that was Carter's
niece or something?
Grandkid or something.
Was it a grandkid?
I think so.
Because she said Auntie Cardi or Auntie Peggy or something like that.
Whatever, I don't fucking care. So now going back to it. I'm trying to remember how obviously Crossbones just quickly X'd off.
Yeah.
With Scarlet Witch, that was pretty cool.
I didn't understand. She lifted him up and then just immediately threw him into the building.
He was just exploding himself right in front of Cap.
Yeah, I know that. I saw that. She picked him up, and as she picked him up, she immediately threw him into the building.
the way that I thought it was she lifted him up. He didn't get too far, and then it before he could get out of it, he exploded right when he was at the top.
But it looked like she literally threw him into the building.
I don't.
That's what I didn't get. I'm like, what? Like, that's the only moment in the movie where I was like, that what?
No, I'll have to pay attention to my second.
Yeah, you definitely need to watch the movie again to digest. For me, I always have to watch a movie a few times to digest it and look at everything and go, oh, okay, I kind of like it.
Well, as much as there were Easter eggs, I also found there was also the least amount of Easter eggs as well.
Yeah.
But it was also harkening back to everything you see from Iron Man 2 with the shield, and the prototype that also led into Captain America, where he has the shield and gives it to him. Bring back General Ross. General Ross didn't really have that much of a role, though.
No,
kind of there.
He's just there to be the dark, shadowy figure. But they made him seem like a little more human, not like he did in the Hulk, where he had no emotion. He said I appreciate everything you've done, and it seemed like he genuinely cared, but it was kind of a hard decision that they were putting on the table for them.
Yeah. And just trying to go back. Okay. Now, before leading up the airport scene, I'm trying to remember anything particular that I wanted to talk about.
Well, what I want to talk about is the actual Accord itself. You knew that they were taking away power from the superheroes to decide where they went, but it never really went to the extreme, and at least to me, coming from, say, I know it's a crappy game, but Ultimate Alliance 2, where it talks about how dangerous it could be, where the government could decide to take these superheroes and put them in war zones where they don't even belong. And I was hoping that they'd get into that more philosophical argument. They never did. So, I don't know.
Well, they kind of rush it because, you don't really get to see them in action before, Rhodey just shows up you're under arrest because you just screwed up.
But that's what I wish they had have talked about a little bit more, just to get some more context of just how bad this was.
But the thing is, what's happening in this movie is not going to go away, so it's going to play out in the other ones.
No, but, the Accord was the big point of where they split sides. It just splits down the middle. But as far as, you could see, it wasn't that bad. It was a group of 180 nations saying, yeah, we have executive power over you, and we'll decide where you go.
And if you don't like it,
wasn't just one government.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It didn't seem as bad.
Well, would it reflect anything that's currently happening now in our world?
We don't have very many superheroes in this world.
Well, no, but I was thinking about Futurama and how even just reading Star Wars Bloodline, how they're separating with the whole galaxy and just individual planets, having maybe a world government than just individual countries.
We're talking about the UN.
Yeah.
The UN is useless.
Okay, so going back to the movie, the action was really good, but the only issue is I lost the moment of the fight, because I'm just thinking back to Star Wars. In Force Awakens, there wasn't that many fight scenes. There was a lot of.
And you definitely, for me, I felt that the middle fight with everyone together completely overshadowed the final fight. Completely.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that, because then we should go.
The last fight was definitely more heartfelt, heartbreaking, because you could understand where Iron Man was coming from, so in that way it had more emotional gravity. But as far as just being exciting, or just awesome to see all these people on screen, the middle fight definitely.
So that was the Deadpool effect, where you get the best scene in the beginning, and then you get
we got the best scene in the middle.
I know.
Although, you know what?
Technically, Deadpool happens in the middle, but it's at the beginning.
Oh, yeah, because of the way the story is told. I don't know. I think maybe watching it again, I might change my mind and vote the last fight as better, simply because of the emotional aspect of it, but I don't know.
Okay, and before I kind of was reminded about it, but how would you like Howard Stark's aging?
That was really good.
Yeah, I was like, holy crap, they must have thrown so much money just for this one scene.
It was worth it.
Yeah, because it was...
and it wasn't even real.
Well, that was the thing. I was like, is this a flashback? Is this a flashback? And then just the fact that it was present day, I was so happy about that.
Yeah, Tony Stark using his little mind scanner thingy.
And that's where I thought we were going to see Peter Parker. Now, you going in the film, what were say your thoughts about what you had of Spider-Man before going in the film, and then after.
Didn't really like the suit, to be fair, to be honest.
Going into the film?
Even now, I still don't like it. It doesn't look dynamic as, like, I hate the Tobey Maguire movies, in a sense, but at least the suit looked dynamic. It looked awesome. It looked like there was texture. This just looks so flat, this suit, so I don't know.
So is that a mixture of both going in or going out?
That's coming out still. I still don't care too much for the suit.
Okay, that's the suit. What about the actor?
The actor seems like he's going on the other end of the spectrum as far as, like, being really, really nerdy and geeky, but maybe that's because I don't know the character that well.
Like, he's more, like, poor, but because he's a nerd, he tries to use what he has.
And his description of why he actually helped people, they didn't go, like, the obvious route, like great power, great responsibility thing, so it was kind of like...
To me, it seems like he's still discovering himself. He only discovered these powers 6 months ago, so...
I guess.
So it's when you ask him, what do you do? He's like, I feel like I want to help people, but like it seems like if like when his football description's like.
And Stark was such an asshole. He was just baiting this poor kid who just wanted to do good, but you knew Stark was kind of in the wrong.
Yeah, but then that leads to how is their chemistry? Did you enjoy their chemistry, the actor and Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah. Obviously, Downey
Jr. That's
how
they cast it.
Obviously, Downey Jr. like stole the scene. Obviously, it's his scene more than it is Spider-Man's. I mean, it's pretty hard to find an actor that steals it from Jr. So,
ironically, this makes me feel like I got my Iron Man 4 and my Captain America 3 because it was tied between Bucky and Steve's relationship and the fact of the death of Howard Stark and leading up to Tony.
I guess we should talk about the villain, even though I didn't think there really needed to be a villain if the story was told differently. But yeah,
the villain
was just some guy.
Yeah,
but he does manage to drive a wedge in between all the heroes.
Yeah, he definitely...
I mean, you can understand his motivations, but I mean, I think just them warring with each other, and if S.H.I.E.L.D. was still around, the S.H.I.E.L.D. could have been a huge aspect of trying to enforce the law.
Technically, S.H.I.E.L.D.'s still around.
Well, yeah, it's still around, but barely.
S.H.I.E.L.D. is U.S., though, that's the only thing. But
I think the Registration Act, I'm not sure whether it was actually just in the U.S. or not.
Okay, so we did touch a little bit on Black Panther. How did you like the suit?
I love the suit. The suit was freaking awesome.
Yes, I can't wait for that movie now. I am so hyped for Black Panther. Coming out of that, like, just, again, given a character just kind of like Spider-Man, where we haven't seen him in the other... Well, in particular, even more farther than Spider-Man.
This is your introduction into, like, full Marvel movie Spider-Man.
But yeah, but I meant, like, for Black Panther, though, like, unless you read the comics or, like...
Seen those little animated skits.
Which are still technically just off the comics. This is your first introduction. They picked, I feel like, the right actor, the right tones.
Oh, yeah, perfect.
And it had a whole turnaround because he went from the beginning just being like, I'm gonna kill.
Yeah, completely vengeance fueled, and then he sees the villain at the end, and he realizes what had happened and like how it consumed him 100%.
Which I find is what a lot of media is currently doing, especially with like Walking Dead, Negan, and stuff like that. Now, and obviously stuff like Joker and stupid stuff like that.
Well, I think it was more than that because they built it up, like how he was behind Iron Man and Cap and listening in on their conversation and realizing, wow, I let my vengeance consume me so much that I didn't even care about the facts.
And it really, you can tell that in just one little, like, just by
When he's-
movement of it, he turns his head.
Yeah, just by, he's like in the doorway, and as soon as he hears that, he just looks down a little bit. You know instantly he's like second guessing himself.
Yeah. And basically what I also found was
Okay, and one thing I want to bring up, does Bucky have like super soldier serum in him, or is it just his arm that he has that makes him different?
no, because his arm is a replacement, because I thought that was what was cut off.
Okay, yeah, that's fine, but does he have like some sort of super soldier serum in him?
That's what I thought. Because he was, what's the dude that's a robot?
This is a dude that's a robot.
He wears glasses, he's bald, he helped out Red Skull.
Oh, Fitz-Olaf?
Yeah, because he's the one that made him.
Oh, yeah.
And Fitz-Olaf tried to create the super soldier serum with Red Skull.
Okay, yeah.
That was-
Okay, yeah, that was actually a stupid question, because now I'm thinking back, and yeah, they showed like a little experiment where they were doping them up with some blue crap.
And Howard Stark had the blue crap too.
Just randomly in his car.
Which didn't make any sense because I thought Howard gave it to Peggy and so that she could drop it in the water.
Yeah.
Unless he was just...
No, that was Captain America's blood.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that wasn't super soldier serum. That was the last remaining vial of Steve Rogers' blood.
Wait, then how did Hulk get super soldier serum?
He didn't. The Hulk was gamma
Oh,
experiment.
yeah.
What that Russian guy, Orlovsky, in the Hulk movie was injected with was like the government's attempt to recreate the super soldier serum.
Oh, okay.
And then they gave him Hulk's blood, and that like created Abomination.
Okay. Now, obviously, I was kind of happy to see Ant-Man again. He looks like he got an updated
Yeah,
suit.
his helmet's definitely changed.
Yeah, and I was... Okay, let's just go in the airport scene. Literally, the airport scene is the fucking bee's knees of this fucking this whole fucking franchise. Like,
Yeah.
it made everything come together. And then, yes, I skipped over Vision and Scarlet. Let's go back to Vision and Scarlet just so I can get that out of the way. I liked how they build up their relationship because they are together in the comics.
Yeah.
And like they wore a sweater.
Yeah.
And just the fact that technically is Jarvis.
Yeah. I just love how he like phases through the wall and just like, we talked about this, but I saw the door was open. My apologies.
I won't do it again next time.
It's almost like Martian Manhunter,
Yeah.
but only a good one.
Yes. So, actually, also Red Tornado.
Yeah, but he doesn't do the spinny shit.
Yeah. Okay, now let's go back to the airport scene. So the airport scene when we saw Spider-Man, I was stoked. And then the fact that all the characters came together for that final clash. Was this clash?
Second clash.
Well, second clash. Like when the two cameras come together
Yeah.
and they're both coming at each other. Was this fight scene better than your Avengers turnaround?
I don't know, the music in the Avengers, like when it's just like them fighting and it goes from Avenger to Avenger, I will never get that from my mind. I might put it on par, but I think it's on par for right now. I loved it, but nostalgically, I think I still like my Avengers.
I think if they kind of did more of what they did in Age of Ultron when they did that shot,
When it was going around them as they're all fighting at
But
once.
not even that. You can just at least a continuous shot. So
because that's what the Avengers did. They just went from Avenger to Avenger.
yeah. And I thought they were going to do that, but then it cuts to like banter and
It's
stuff
all
like
cuts.
that. Now, my favorite scene was Giant Man.
Oh yeah, basically. Talking about, I'm going to do something that I've only done in the lab once.
And
I passed out.
Oh my god, I can't believe it. I saw a Giant Man.
Yeah.
Granted, that was kind of predictable because if you can shrink that size and go big that size.
Yeah.
Or the fact that he's like, oh, I thought it was a water tank.
Yeah, that was awesome. He like miniaturizes a little truck, and then he like tells Cap to throw the truck, or wait, throw either, I don't know which one, but
He throws a truck so that he can
throw one
the
of his
disc.
expanders, and if friggin' hits the truck lands and just explodes.
I'm actually surprised no one died. Well, except for Crossbones. And I liked it how like the two girls were actually fighting with each other in certain scenes, but I don't think that was in the airport scene with Black Widow and the Carter character. Again, I thought when Hawkeye would fire the arrow at Tony, I thought it was at War Machine first, the way that it was cut.
I don't remember that.
Because it was Tony, because like of what it was sewn in my head. Yeah, it's your subconscious. I like that scene. I liked it how I think his suit is definitely looks more like Invincible Iron Man suit design.
Okay.
Like the current design, and I really don't care about War Machine.
No, unfortunately not. He's basically a sidekick.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really stand out that much.
Well, he doesn't bring a big impact to anything. He doesn't really change anything.
No, I mean, he has a few cool scenes where Ant-Man, as his giant form, is like about to hit him with this truck, and then he just pulls all his guns out at once and just like disintegrates the truck before it even hits him. Like that was neat. But as far as like story progression, he's not really pivotal.
Yeah.
To be fair, there's a few people who aren't. They're just there to be there.
Yes. Now, this kind of like begs the question of what you're going to do going forward. Now, again, I'm kind of jumping back and forth. Is there anything else about the airport scene that you want to discuss about? Because oh wait, I gotta remember the Walker scene, but I'll get to that.
The Walker scene?
Okay, I'll just say it. So,
yeah. That was...
so awesome. The fact, like, he's like, you ever seen this old movie called Empire Strikes Back?
Yeah, Spider-Man.
Where'd you pick up this kid?
Yeah. And he does, like, literally the AT-AT Walker on Ant-Man, and his giant form wraps his web around his legs.
Yeah.
And then he, like, Iron Man and War Machine punch him in the face, and he, like, falls over.
It was so good. And I have a feeling, though, that in the Spider-Man movie, Robert Downey Jr. is going to get with Ant-Man.
No, him and...
No, I am fine. I don't like Pepper.
I know. And it was funny because, like, he was reading a teleprompter, and it's like, please welcome Miss Potts, but apparently they're broken up. The teleprompter should just say, Gwyneth Paltrow didn't want to be in this movie.
Yes. Or they didn't want to pay her salary.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think that's a good thing, because there has been some talks about them doing Iron Man 4, and I feel like the role that Tony played, where he's just a man in a suit trying to coordinate it all, I feel that's more appropriate now. With everything they've been doing with Iron Man, like up to 3, where he gets rid of his suits and says he doesn't need this more, I am this person. And then Age of Ultron, he's back and causes more destruction, crap like that.
Well, I don't know, that was a weird transition for him, like where he was like trying to prevent any more catastrophes by accidentally creating a super catastrophe.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to remember the airport scene. Is there anything else about the airport scene that you'd like to discuss?
Not that I can think of. It's something that has to be seen rather than talked about.
Yeah. And again, it's just so amazing. Can't wait to see that tomorrow.
Are you going to drive all the way back here?
No, we're just going to Huntsville.
Oh, okay.
So the next scene would be them being stuck in a cell.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that, because like General Ross knew like they didn't do it. Like they had a reason.
He didn't care anymore, because literally the whole point of the act was to basically put a leash on them, and they destroyed an entire airport.
Yeah.
Like, it kind of further lends
an empty
credence.
airport.
Yeah, surprisingly empty airport.
Where you always find some, you know.
So yeah, he was like kind of pissed off with Tony, so he didn't really give a shit. And besides, like, they already signed the law, and it states that if you do anything outside of the council's decision, then immediately you're put in prison.
Yeah.
And a supermax, obviously, because they're superheroes.
I kind of actually called everything. I said there was going to be...
And that was kind of low of, like, Hawkeye. He actually made that pun about frickin' Brody's back. Did you hear that? He's like, watch your back. You might wind up breaking it.
No. Wait, was that during the fight?
No, that was when they were in the cell. Yeah, that was pretty low blow.
I actually liked Hawkeye in this.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good because I didn't like him in Avengers. I didn't like him in Thor. But well, Age of Ultron, that's where they built his character, and then this they just expanded on it more. I like how he chat Vision, and then he starts realizing, oh shit.
And Scarlet Witch, holy shit. When she attacked Vision, holy.
Oh yeah, that was so sick. But like, that's the thing I like about it is like, they weren't all mad at each other by the end. They were just like, we had to do these things because we both chose sides. We cool? We cool.
Like, literally, I thought going into like, it's Vision. He's literally a walking Infinity Stone. How can you beat him? And then Scarlet Witch just like kicks his ass.
Yeah.
Literally, like, just destroys him almost. Crazy.
Well, she is a witch.
Yeah, Inhuman now, technically.
Yeah.
You can't say mutant.
They're technically not Inhuman in this verse.
Okay, yeah, isn't it because of the experiments?
Yeah, they're...
oh yeah, experiments with the mind gem made them like that.
What are the specials, or whatever the heck they called it? I forget what he said in the end of Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Now leading up to the fight, obviously, like, Tony was on Cap's team before the final reveal for Tony himself.
Yeah, he comes there literally to help Cap, and then he finds out that Bucky, under the influence still of Hydra at the time, murdered his parents. And Iron Man just lost his shit.
I know, but that's when I stopped caring for Iron Man. I was like, you aren't looking past the fact that the dude's been brainwashed.
Yeah, but you could totally understand where he came from.
Yeah, but you also got to think where those two came from. They both know Howard Stark. How fucked up would that be? Like, the person they both like...
Bucky really didn't know Howard Stark, unless you're talking about just Cap and Iron Man.
Yeah, I think he did meet him. Because, like, the...
Oh, yeah, wasn't Howard Stark saying his name?
Yeah.
Okay.
But if they didn't meet, he would still know about Bucky no matter what. Because I think the only time you would see it is when Bucky gets kidnapped and Captain America brings him back to the base, and then I think they're on the train heist or in the airplane to get on the train. Yeah, it's just like I liked it how it was just a nice, like, at this point this is your
like, it wasn't so much the Registration Act that like forced them to pick a side at that point, which that still kind of bugs me because I wish it was more about that. It was simple, you killed my parents, I'm gonna kill you for killing people.
Now I do have to say though, I think going forward, if it's a sequel, I probably won't watch the trailers now. If it's something where like I haven't seen what this director or what the vision is, I may, like Doctor Strange, will just watch the trailer. Like, I don't think I'll watch any more Doctor Strange trailers because that end fight scene like wasn't as impactful as I want it to be when Bucky and him are fighting side by side and they're tossing the shield and stuff like that. Now,
I'm guessing you watched that like 50 times.
Yeah, I cried from the other trailer.
No, but I mean, you just watched that fight where they're like throwing the shield to each other.
I watched it a couple times, but I was more interested about like the Spider-Man stuff.
And that was awesome. Like, you see them fight so hard, and Iron Man still damn near wins the whole thing.
Yeah.
And like, you see that scene where like Bucky's trying to like pull his arc reactor out, and he just like unibeams his hand off.
Yeah. And I liked it though, like when he does finally take down Iron Man, he just like, obviously, you know, he wasn't gonna kill him.
He was, yeah. But it kind of makes me wonder, like, why didn't you just stick your shield in his chest plate in the first place?
Well, because we needed 3 minutes of an action scene that probably cost like $10 million.
And how they ended it, it was still like bittersweet, but Cap knows that they can still have their little issues, their conflicts about this registration, but when the time comes and the world's plunged into chaos from some super threat, they will need the Avengers again.
Yeah, that was mentioned right at the beginning. It's like, what happens when something else happens and they need us to go somewhere and they won't allow us to go? Which I wonder how that's going to play, because again, there was no Infinity Stone besides them just reminding you that there's an Infinity Stone in Vision that he's still scared about.
Yeah.
And like the next movie is technically Doctor Strange and then Guardians of the Galaxy, because like at the end teaser when you saw Spider-Man, like that leads up into
something tells me that when Thanos finally comes in, they're just going to scrap the legislation.
Probably. General Ross, I wonder if he'll ever turn to Red Hulk.
You're hoping.
I'm hoping-ish, because Hulk alone, the reason why they don't usually put him in movies is because he costs a lot to make. It was a good film, but as a movie as a whole, I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy is more enjoyable for me personally.
Yeah, there's technically not a bad Marvel movie.
No, it's like
each movie you can even like say the Iron Man 2. There's still something in the movie you can enjoy.
It's like comparing a small pile of gold to a giant pile of gold.
Yeah,
it's still gold. It's just I got more gold in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
plus,
understandable.
Well, it's colorful. It has characters you never knew of. They got you invested in the world right away. It's technically in the MCU, but at the same time, it's so far distant that it could be just a standalone film. Because obviously, whatever's happening in Guardians is what's going to bring in Thanos. Because what I feel like the next Avengers movie is doing it in 2 parts. I feel like if one was called Infinity Gauntlet, then that would be how Thanos gets the gems and obviously taking it from Vision. That meets him on Earth. And then Infinity War would be him having the gauntlet, sitting on a throne, destroying galaxies because he pleases, maybe tie in Mistress Death, and then the Avengers go in and take them out. And if they do that, either Captain America or Iron Man do have to die. One of them has to die. I personally would call the first Avenger to do it, because I know the actor wants to direct and do other stuff. Well, everyone likes...
well, if they die, they'll just use an Infinity Gem to bring them back and, like, happy ever after.
But that's probably what's going to happen. He's going to die in 1, and then he'll be brought back in 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like looking at Wakanda for the first time, it was pretty interesting.
You didn't see much of it. You just saw Mist and then the giant panther statue.
Yeah, but it still got me excited.
Yeah, you saw like how advanced their technology was.
Yeah, and how was the 3D for the film for you?
Like most of the 3D, at times you could notice it, but then after a minute you forgot you were watching 3D. Unfortunately for me, that's the way I always am with 3D.
Like there were some moments where like the 3D actually did work, and I was like, like the one scene with the helicopter, like when he's pulling down Bucky, and
I didn't feel that one.
I felt that one because it wasn't even because it was a bit of a split second, but the sound really helped to make it more impactful. Okay, is there any last thoughts on Civil War you would like to discuss about it?
Just watch the movie.
Yeah,
that's all you need to know. Just go out and watch the movie. Take time off work, like I unfortunately did. Just watch the movie.
Fuck off. Okay, so that being said, we're both definitely recommending the movie, and that is our thoughts on it. So, with that being said, thanks for watching StonedSober, and we'll be doing Let's Play soon. Bye. Fuck you. Oh, shit.